What a day this has been. Let's round of applause for everybody that's already if you weren't here this morning, you'll get to see some replays, right, I'm sure.
Yes.
Phenomenal speakers this morning. Shannon, I went to my LinkedIn and I counted how many jobs I've had because I'm competitive.
Yeah.
So,
Did you copy?
no. What was yours?
39.
14.
Oh, okay.
14 in my short career. I thought I had a lot. So when I heard that, I was like, wow, am I doing something wrong? Now I need to compete with you. Right?
We're just getting started.
Yeah, exactly. So so there was supposed to be somebody else here. I asked, so Shari and I worked together at IBM, and I invited one of my Wall Street clients to come in, who's been with me since my early days, and he says, you know I'm going to heckle you. And I go, well, Jim, that's you, right? And he goes, where is it? And I go, it's 109 53rd Street. See you there. So I got a dirty text from him later, and I said, well, you know me. So, but anyway, let me come back to this. So Panic Island is something that I've actually trademarked because the way that I think about Panic Island when it comes to business is when you say, oh, they're on the island. For those of you in Southeast Asia, it's not the PI, right? So, but Panic Island to me is when you're stuck, you got that deer in the headlights look, you're looking to management, you're looking to your sales team, and they don't know how to get out of their own problem. They're stuck on an island, emotionally, mentally, and sometimes even physically because of that. They can see the boat out there, and they've got a raft right here, or the makings to put together a raft, but they want to build the raft out of sand because they're panicking. They're never going to build something that's going to get them there, so they're stuck in panic mode. And so internally, I joked around with some of my fellow salespeople and say that they're on the PI. Okay, so these are just some of the symptoms when you look across an organization. If you can tell if that company's in a panic situation, okay, that they won't admit to. Okay, so that's how I look at this. Now, I love what I do. Okay, I'm not just a salesperson, I'm a dad, okay? I'm a husband, I'm a coach, I'm a mentor, I'm still a student, I'm a son, I'm an uncle. These are the things that I think are important for you guys to know as I talk about what's coming next, so you understand where I come from, okay? I'm originally from the Silicon Valley, okay? I've moved around a lot. My parents worked for the government, so we kind of moved every 2 years, just hang in there. So I had to learn to acclimate really fast. I had to learn who's this person, who's this organization, learn a new school, learn a new teacher. I had to learn all these things. So I had to figure things out very quickly without any instruction. My mom's like, go, school, right? I'm an avid Oakland Raider fan. I won't say the other city. I've had a few exits. I've had 3 losses, 3 big losses, where I thought that they were great. So you don't just talk about the wins. Sometimes the most important number is the loss. So what did you learn from these 3 losses? Just complete implosion of the companies. But I've been fortunate enough to work for companies like TerraSpring, the original on-demand virtual data center game, bought by Sun Microsystems. Think Dynamics, a competitor to these guys, so I went back to the same customers. And I said, remember that problem we couldn't solve at TerraSpring? Guess what these guys can do? So that was about, you talk, Dave, all your decision makers and peoples and objections and all that. I knew how to tell their story. So I went back to them, I said, hey, remember you couldn't invest in me because of this? Well, let me tell you what I'm doing now that I think helps you.
Smart.
New friends, new customers, right? They got acquired by IBM, so that's where I got to meet Shari and work with her. And I learned how inside of IBM, who has process, don't let it beat you down process, matrix, how many bosses you have? I have 1 on paper and 3 that tell me what to do. Process, I cut the sales cycle down there in my little patch of the world by sitting down with the deal makers, sitting down with the quote people to find out what's your job, what do you do, how do you do it, what pisses you off from all the salespeople, the sleazy salespeople, okay? Just do this quote for me, just approve this quote for me. That's what they say, just you, like servants, you do this for me. She explained to me, Jeannie Roper, I don't know if you ever knew Jeannie, explained to me, Bill, these are the shitty things that salespeople do, And I said, well, I want to do it right, and I'm going to teach my whole team how to do this so that everybody sends you a clean proposal. Mike Madison loved it. And then you shorten the sales cycle that way. You don't go back and forth, because once they reject it, it's like going to the Supreme Court. It starts all over again, that timeline. So fix those things. App Dynamics, 0 to 20 million that I contributed personally right before Cisco acquired us. And my number one partner, these guys. So the same people that I had learned to kind of be a little disruptive inside, I now had to control and accelerate growth, trying to sell to their services organization, to a company that competed with me before, and actually compete with me right now as a partner. Then go on to Broadcom, EMC. I had to learn a lot of different things. I had to learn RSA, I had to learn hardware, I had to learn service, I had to learn all these things. And in doing that and coming over to Capgemini, and now I'm in charge of delivering or creating a services program that had been failing year after year. For 3 years, they'd only done $2 million in sales. When I left 2 years later, $134 million. So, and the reason I tell you this is because it's the way that I approach a problem. Whether you want to call it a problem or not is, you just kind of look at it that way. I put those up there just to, in that context, to say that that's what I'm going to talk about next. That's how I approach problems. I ask a lot of questions. Pisses my wife off. She's like, stop asking me questions. Why do you say that? So then my tenets in my world, in my life is work hard, play hard. Okay? Take time out. You got to have balance. Spend time with friends. I don't like golf. I don't like it. It's this little annoying ball that doesn't move, but you're supposed to hit it, and if you're a fraction off, it goes that way or that way. It costs you $3 to put on the balls you like. For me, it's about spending time with people. It's community and family are verbs to me. So you got to spend time with people, enjoy it. That's me golfing. Sometimes I golf that way. It's okay to have a vice. You know me, I love tequila. So a fun fact, I played professional baseball. That's actually my team just outside of Columbus. They're no longer here. Life lesson, somebody was asking me who's looking to get into sales but has no experience. I told them, think about what you learned in school and apply that to sales. So in baseball, preparation. I was a pitcher. I never got on the mound without first training, getting perfect on throwing that fastball just on the outside of the plate or on the inside of the plate. Bullpens. It's the fundamentals. You got to get them right. That's how you make it to that level. You never do it alone. Special operators, those are the Navy SEALs. My family's worked with the teams, so I have a lot of intimate knowledge about them. They train until they're perfect at it. They don't just go out and start selling. They just don't go out and start shooting people or rescuing people or running ops. They train. And then last but not least, that's my why, my family. So it starts there, ends there every day. Who's read Art of War, Sun Tzu? Okay. So you probably think it's a military strategy book. I think it's a business strategy book. So in the opening, they talk about, for those of you that haven't read it, please get it and read it, and I've got some other book suggestions at the end. I listened to it, I do audiobooks. I listened to it as a strategy book, and one of the things that jumped out at me at the beginning was the Emperor calls General Sun Tzu to come witness and observe the troops. So he comes to the Emperor's, and he looks down there and he commands the squad leaders, and he says, tell your teams about face left, right, and about face again. And when he did that, the troops were all like, you'd think it was Police Academy, the movie or something like that. So then he asked his platoon leaders, I'm paraphrasing a lot of this, do they understand the commands? Or do they not understand the commands? And they said, no, sir, they understand the commands. So then he ordered the beheading of the platoon leaders. because they said the troops understood the commands, but they couldn't do it, so that you must have a leadership problem. So then he promoted platoon leaders out of the soldiers, and they came up there, and he says, okay, about face, left, right, about face. What do you think happened? Perfect. Perfect execution. So you didn't have, going to business, you didn't have a sales problem, you had a leadership problem. So you got to ask, wherever you're at, whether you think you have a problem, you're on Panic Island or not, what kind of a problem do I have? So from that, once you understand what kind of a problem you have, or situation you have, then you can build your map. Okay? One of my favorite characters out there. So then it's, how do you go from panic to a revenue engine? So this is some of the results that I've had when I've approached the problem of what do I have? Does everybody in the organization know what we do? Do they know what they do? Do they know what the team to the right, left, back, forward, they know what they're doing? Okay, when you align everybody, these are some of the results that you can get, and fast, because you don't always have time, because you have your goals too, right? But this is always what's coming down. Steve talked about it. Just sell, 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 sell. Go, come on, sell, give me results. By the way, we're going to change the product strategy, we're going to change the messaging, but just get sales. It'll just happen. So on that vein, I come from the President Kennedy philosophy, which is when he was touring NASA in 1962, I believe. You know the story.
I do, yeah.
He was walking by a guy and he says, can you tell me what you do? Turned out he was the janitor. The janitor says, I help put men on the moon. Astronauts on the moon. Pretty phenomenal, right? If you go and sit down and ask your sales team, Mike, what do you do? See what they say. Go ask marketing, what do you do? Go ask finance what they do. Go ask ops what they do. Customer success. Ask your CEO, your chief technology officer, what do you do? If they're far off message, you start to tell you what kind of problem you have and how to help them. So then, so I do this in every company I work at. I go and I sit down, I ask people, I call them, I do whatever. I want to talk to 3 or 4 people in each group, because I need to know the entire process, because as a salesperson or a sales leader, I represent the company. I'm the face of the company. I got to know who I can rely on, what kind of problems are going to come at me. Once, if I'm trying to get help, resources, what resources do I have? What kind of help do I have available? What kind of help do I need or go get? What's the data show me? Okay, so I have to understand, my favorite is my past 2 companies. Why are we winning? Why are we losing? Nobody knew. Are you tracking anything in the CRM? Nope. Do you use the CRM? Nope. Okay, so you see, right? So these are important. Why do we win? Why do we lose? And what do we do as a company? And what's your role? And how do you deliver that higher message of who we serve, the North Star, which is our customer? Talk to all the teams, finance and ops. Those are your partners. In sales and sales leadership, you should be reaching across and saying, marketing, you are my partner. Damn it. Let's partner. Finance is your partner. Bring that CFO into the call, right? Bring marketing with you, bring account management, bring customer success with you. Everybody is your partner to help you drive a smooth operation for your customer, because you serve the customers. They pay the bills. Okay? So this when you have to inspect all this, and you can do this very quickly. My last couple jobs, I've done this, and I come back to the CEO and I go, these are the findings. By the way, what do? CEO's not on message, you've got something else going on, right? So once you get all that information, sorry about that.
It was part of your presentation.
Yeah, I'm playing rugby again. So once you gather all that information, you can finally see what kind of a problem do we have. Do we have a messaging problem, a sales problem, a personnel problem, a leadership problem, a process problem, a finance problem, an invoicing problem? All those things. Once you have all that information, then you put your plan down on a piece of paper, you walk through it, and then you're ready to hit the gas. Okay, anybody in here take performance driving school or drive a fast car? Drive fast in any car? Okay, so if you ever go through any instruction or you drive with somebody who's been a performance driver, they'll tell you about how you enter a turn, okay? You want to go deep into that turn, okay? And it's all about performance, okay? It's time on the track, so it's performance-based, but so technical. You study, study, study. You study your car, you study your capabilities, you study the road, you're factoring all this, the weather, you know, the conditions, the sun, you know, is there a glare, my temperature, am I feeling well that day? Does that kind of sound like sales? You have to think about all that stuff all the time. Okay, but then you get in a GT, a GT3R, right? And my son just did this, by the way. Then you hit the gas and you're taking the turn at about $120. You're going deep into it. You want to find the deepest part of the turn, into the turn. Then you make one turn, 10 and 3. Make one turn and your eyes are this way. You have to be looking forward to where you're going, where you're taking your team. And if you're not, you're going to crash. The car goes where your eyes are. Simple. You go in hard. Okay, no gas, no brakes until you get there. You turn and you gas it, and then you slingshot out of the turn faster than anything else. But in order to do that, you can't just turn on a switch and say, I'm going to sell. You have to gather data. You have to train yourself. You have to work on the fundamentals. Throw bullpen, 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 bullpen until you're ready to step on the mound. And one day they'll give you a professional contract. So that to me is sales. That picture right there, it's getting ready, it's doing all the preparation, being as lead as I can be, studying every day, getting better every day, 1%. 1% better every day, and that's the micro-learning you talked about. It's really important to continuously do that. And then hit the gas and go. So I'm coming back to this image because I think that one of the biggest problems that we have today, and Steve, you touched on this, is we're underserving our sales teams. We're not giving them all the right tools and the right coaching for a lot of reasons. We either maybe aren't capable of it, so we need help. Be aware, what kind of a problem do you have? Are you part of the problem? Where do you need help? Okay, do you need tools that can help you do this? Like Dextegon. That's one of the things I'm so passionate about, is how this can help everybody every single day. You talked about it. You learned a lot, and some of your employees that tenured learned a lot from it, right? They didn't know that because they weren't getting the opportunity to have that immediate feedback. But these operators, everybody knows what it's like to carry that log. Has anybody here ever tried that? Yeah. It's hard as hell. It's pretty hard. Yeah, right? So that's why it takes more than one person. Remember, you're on a team. If you're leading the team, it takes everybody on that team to go. One slow person, in their hell week, you lose, and you have to keep doing it over and over again. Only the team that works the fastest together, it's because everybody knows everybody's job, goes ahead and they get to rest. Okay, the lead operators, that's why they have swim lanes. Never do it alone. So those are the two things that I like to ask myself and anybody that I work with. And then when you're off the island, or even if you stay on the island, you're no longer panicking. You're in the right kind of island, which is pleasure island, right? And so this is where you want to take your team. You want to give them the vision that they can get there. That, hey, it's okay if you're panicking. It's okay if tell me what's not working, where the friction is in the company. I'll go interview those teams. I'm going to fix those things that present friction to you being able to deliver something smooth and seamless for your client. And at the end of the day, when you bring that all together, you'll see some of those results, whether it's a small company or a big one like IBM and Capgemini. Like, we know it's tough sometimes, but that's where you want to take it. Yeah, that's it.
Thank
Last thing, these books. So I talked about The Art of War. Please read it. It's also a really good audiobook. Multipliers for any leader. If you haven't read that, don't be a detractor. Be a multiplier. And negotiating. Never split the difference. Chris Voss was a former FBI hostage negotiator. I gave that book to my son, he just left. He was an officer in the Army. He read that before he went in the military, And he says it helped him throughout his military career. And now that he's entering the corporate workforce, it's so obvious to him how you can apply your lessons, the lessons from that book. So